Hey y'all, this is Lydia. The message coming through today is what gives us inertia or lethargy, in the sense of what keeps us from stepping into our highest vision and our highest expression. What keeps us indifferent or unmotivated or in a sense of stagnation where we aren't feeling like perhaps we're manifesting an emotional state where we won't take action, or we'll put things off and procrastinate. And I mean, the short answer is we're not in the present moment. That's what happens. When you aren't in the present moment, you stay in your head and you don't take action, and it creates a lethargy, and you find all sorts of things to fill space and all sorts of distractions to fill up your time with inessential things, and to not be focused on what's your highest light and your highest good. And this isn't me talking about hustle culture either, or always having to be productive. This is about what's commanding our attention, and is it something that really is nurturing us or filling us up or adding value to our lives. So this could, be how we spend our time. Sometimes in this society we might think, oh, well, I don't need to be doing things all the time, but at the same time, it's when you're resting, when you're rejuvenating, and when you're nurturing yourself, how are you doing that, and what sorts of ways are you doing that? And is it adding to your energy, or is it taking away? Is it recharging you, or is it distracting you? And really being able to discern ourselves, the difference, and to discern when it's fear keeping us in a certain space versus it's actually time to dial back and pull back and recharge and renew. So I'm going to pull some cards and see what we got going. And they want to pull 4. Okay. So the last card is the Two of Swords, which has been coming up a lot lately. So we have the King of Pentacles, so stability, prosperity, and being able to provide for the self and others. The Seven of Swords, not taking things too seriously, I'm getting on this one. And this can be, hidden information, perhaps lying, cheating, stealing. But I find with the Seven of Swords this time around, it's not taking things too seriously, and not being so in our head about things, and keeping our ideas to ourselves perhaps, or keeping ideas tucked away without actually putting them to good use, when we know that it's one of those things that keeps coming back around, but we keep putting it off. And when that happens too, I wouldn't judge it too much. I wouldn't get too much in a sense of self-defeat of, oh, I need to be taking action on it. Because when we take action, our body is ready to do so. So if the body isn't ready, there might be a disjoint there. But to put our awareness on it too, without feeling like, we need to be taking action on it, but at the same time, not avoiding it either. Not saying, well, I'll put it off for later, when I know in my body I need to be doing it now, versus I'm seeing this again and again and I'm going to do it, and I know in my heart I'm going to do it, but now is not quite the time. And in the King of Pentacles too, in this deck, he's pretty much chilling. He's not, hustle bustle. He's not feeling like he needs to do anything. He knows he's abundant. He knows he's prosperous, and he knows it's time to get started on something. And he knows rather when it's time to get started on something, even though, he might have the idea, he might have the concept, but it's like, okay, I'll know when it's time to take action on this, and I know when it's time to go forward. But he's not gripping onto it. He's not hiding it. He's not shoving it away because he's afraid, or letting his unconscious ego fears or his creative ego fears sort of get in the way of him moving forward. Because there's a distinct difference between those two things. Knowing when to take action on something and knowing it's not the time, versus knowing it is the time on some level, but denying it and shoving it down or shoving it away. And we have the Five of Swords here too, which is that inner conflict and that self-defeating mentality. But again, on the flip side of this card, it's taking a risk on yourself and really cutting out those parts that don't belong anymore, that aren't serving you, that have run their course, or you feel yourself sort of getting into this repetitive loop or cycle, and it's like, okay, it's time to break it. It's time to break free from something. And the sun is at 5 degrees of Gemini today, which is dealing with our thought patterns and our thought cycles and how we think of ourselves, but more specifically that process of how our thoughts work against us or for us. And again, Two of Swords, thoughts. But in this card, she is trusting her intuition. She doesn't necessarily need to see where she's going. She knows to take intuitive action, knowing she's going to be guided to new shores. when in that divine right time, okay, there's again that sense of knowing and understanding in the body. That coin energy is physical. And so what I'm getting with this card spread is really use your discernment and know the difference between when it's time to take action and when it's not time to take action, and really being honest with yourself about things that are working against you. It's time to cut them out. It's time to move on. And it's time to perhaps switch up pattern by interrupting it with something new and something you haven't done before either. Let's pull one more card from the top. Right, wholeness, integration. Being in your sense of worthiness, your sense of wholeness, your sense of being complete in any given moment. And this is a present moment card as well. This idea of when I'm in the present moment, I am most equipped to make the decisions I need to make and to take the actions I need to take, and not really be so concerned of being caught in these thought loops of, oh, I should be, but rather being in that sovereignty and that sense of worthiness of being like, okay, I have this idea and I know I'm going to take action on it, and I know when I'm going to take action on it, when that feeling hits, when it's the right time, and I feel it in my body, and I feel that initiatory energy, and that energy of, okay, it's time to actually take that step. And always being in this energy too, really integrating those polarities, that push and pull energy, and allowing it to guide us into taking action when it's time. So I hope this message resonates. I'm sending love and wishing you well. Bye.